All right, this one is going to be a good one. This one is all right. I'm interviewing somebody today that's going to absolutely blow your mind. I'm interviewing two people actually. I got today that will blow your mind, stretch your mind, empower you, and do all that good stuff. Everybody, welcome to trying to come down with come up with a format here, but my power talk. Notes. Let me. Oh, I'm just learning this stuff. It's called pinning, right? I gotta pin something, right? Power talk. All right, power. I am learning technology. Look at that. I'm pinning something. Anybody know what pinning means? Yeah, most of you do. But I just learned that. So I'm supposed to put in the title of what I'm doing here in the comment, and then I'm supposed to hold it. I'm not sure. But if it doesn't work out, it'll work out next time. Try and try again. But if I can pin it, you are going to follow these people that I am pinning because they are actually way smarter than me. And these are people that I bounce ideas off of and talk to, and let me see if that works. Hopefully I got Chase Jarvis right, but I know I follow him. And then I'm supposed to hold it, right? Right. Pin! I just pinned it. All right. The live stream is over. Anyway. All right, everybody, I'm going to bring somebody on right now. I was trying to give everybody time to get on here because it's going to be amazing, absolutely incredible, all that kind of good stuff, right? What's up, guys? It's Daymond John, the People Shark. For the last few weeks, I've been doing my power talks. Today, I'll be talking to one of my partners. I call him a partner because we've been working together ever since the beginning of his amazing platform and the beginning of Shark Tank. I am not a partner and or a founder in the company, but all of you can be partners because I do purchase and I have purchased some stocks. And this is the founder of Shopify. He's a founder with his other partners, and absolutely the hottest stock on the planet. And also I'm going to be talking to the founder of CreativeLIVE, which is Chase Jarvis, to get some key insights on how to make the most of this uncertain time. So Harley's going to come on right now, and let me tell you, the reason why I think that Harley is perfect for this moment is because, number one, his stock is called SHOP, SHOP. It is literally the hottest stock on the planet. Since last month, I think the stock is up 2 times, meaning 300 points approximately, or 250 points since the height of the market last month. And even though the market has pulled back dramatically, this stock keeps going up. This one and Amazon. So first of all, every one of you who would like to create something, there's something you can learn from here. Sometimes you don't need to be the inventor or the entrepreneur. You can invest in brilliant people like Harley. Number 2, if you are somebody like Harley who wants to create something out of your garage the way that he did, well, we can talk to him about that. And number 3, if you're somebody who wants to use the platform like a Shopify because you're home right now, you know your intellectual property is amazing and that you have things to say and you have things to sell and you have value you can add to this world, then you go on to a platform like Shopify with Harley. So let me look for Harley right now, and hopefully he's on standby. And we got him. I'm going to bring him in right now. Boom. Got him. Waiting on Harley from Shopify. Get your pens and pads ready. Remember, the dullest pencil, remember, is more than the sharpest mind. What's up, man?
Hey, Damon. How you doing?
I'm well. Hey, I like the look.
It's only because I can't get a haircut right now. I got no choice.
Yeah, you got to do like me. Just shave it all off, baby.
Yeah, I don't have that confidence. I don't have your swagger.
Okay. So what's up, Harley? How you doing? First of all, how's your family? How's everything going over there?
Family's doing well. One of the I guess, glimmers of light through this whole thing is that I'm getting to spend a lot more time with my two daughters. I know you have a daughter as well. And I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. And frankly, I don't think I've ever spent more quality time with them. So that's been really great. Family's healthy. And we're just, we now have over 1 million entrepreneurs, 1 million stores on Shopify. And we're trying to help as many of them as possible and help get more stores that were just offline to come online and help ride what is going on right now during the crisis.
Talk about the dad thing for just 1 second. Are you a dad like me? Like, at 3 years old and at 4 and at 1, they're so damn yummy. So when they come over, I play with them, and then, when they're acting bad or they're annoying me, I tell them go to their mother, and then as soon as, their mother yells at them, I come over there and I hug them, and and then I send them back to their mother. Do you do that at all, or do you discipline them as well?
Yes, no, I do that too. And this is kind of a weird time in my home right now because obviously I'm trying to manage Shopify and make sure everything's going well and help entrepreneurs. My wife's also an entrepreneur. She's an ice cream entrepreneur. And so we're both trying to balance being entrepreneurs with obviously having a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old running around. And it's challenging, but actually one of the things that I think has been made it better is we're just scheduling everything. I mean, we literally schedule like a walk. It's in the Google Calendar and stuff. And I found that to be a really effective way to make sure that I'm not neglecting any of my responsibilities on either the family side or on the Shopify side.
I find the same thing. I walk every day, either at 5 or 6. I have, pretty much that. But everything else is like, listen, we're doing our interviews. I knock out my interviews, and then I knock out my behind-the-scenes filming, and then I knock out whatever research I'm doing, and whatever the case is. And so I try to do my walking between 5 to 6, and I finish at 8. Go have dinner, put the baby down, watch a movie or something with my significant other, so that we do spend that time together. And repeat it all over again the next morning at 6 or 7 a.m. Starting to follow the market. So I already told people a little bit about you, and I told them why I believe that this is an extremely valuable conversation. I mean, your stock. I mean, I keep just trying to wait for it to dial back a little to get more of it. It's not going anywhere. I mean, this thing is like a rocket ship. I mean, and I think that the reason why I'm trying, because like all stocks, you're supposed to wait 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You're supposed to pick up more as they come back. That's what Warren Buffett says. They're always a great investment. Something like yours is not a flip. Something like yours is an absolute hold, because I think that stock is going to go, as you and I talked, we said 1,500, but I think it's going to go to 2,000. And why do I think that, or more, right? Why is that important for everybody right now? I think that, first of all, we can invest in geniuses like you if that we do not have, we don't want to do that. Tell me a little bit, I know it, but tell everybody a little bit of how you started it, because you're not just some corporate guy who decided, I'm going to go out and be an M&A guy and a merger acquisition. You created something for a need.
Yeah, I mean, the story of Shopify is pretty simple. We want to sell snowboards on the internet. This is maybe 16 years ago. And there was only 2 ways to do so in 2004. One way was to spend like $1 million in some enterprise, complicated, clunky software system, or you had to sell on a marketplace like, eBay or an Etsy or an Amazon, which, although those were inexpensive, it didn't really allow you to build your own brand. And so we wrote a piece of software to sell these snowboards, and very quickly realized that while the snowboards, the business of the snowboards was a good idea, the software business behind the snowboard store was a great idea, and that potentially millions of other people around the world may also want to use our software to create their own business. And fast forward to today, we have more than 1 million stores on Shopify. Some of your favorite, people that are watching right now, if you go to a great, beautiful online store, a direct consumer brand, whether it's Bombas or Allbirds or Fashion Nova or Kylie Cosmetics or a million others, those are all powered by Shopify. And so, if anyone watching right now has a product that they want to get into the hands of customers, they have an idea that they want to figure out whether or not there's product market fit, for $29, you can use Shopify and you can build a business, which can become, a category leader. This morning, I did an IG Live with Ben Francis, who you know from Gymshark. I mean, Ben started in 2012. Actually, he was mentored by you through Shopify, and he started, at his mom's kitchen table. And now Gymshark is one of the largest, most significant and profitable athletic wear companies on the planet, and they're taking market share away from all the big guys like Nike and Adidas. And so it's the company is really all about entrepreneurship. And right now, where small businesses are kind of going through a rough time right now, we feel like our mission to help entrepreneurs has never been more important.
And I agree, and you helped me because the way we started was, when when Shark Tank came out, the websites were crashing because everybody was just, they were hitting the sites, and then Ted, obviously is a younger, smarter person who's the president of my company, said, why don't we find a company that can deal with the bandwidth? And we started using Shopify, I think in 2010, was it? Or
so just around the time where Shark Tank started to take off. That's right. All the sites were crashing, and so we began to do that. And then actually, we did something really, really meaningful together that I think has had a massive impact that I bet you most people watching have no idea, which is that we helped to co-develop this thing called Build a Business. And the Build a Business competition was, as far as I haven't figured out, I haven't seen anything bigger than that, but it was the biggest entrepreneurship competition ever. And what we did was we realized that so many people wanted to become entrepreneurs, so many people want to start businesses, but there was this strange hesitation to do so. They thought it was either complicated or too expensive. And you and I disagree with that. We think it's never been a better time to become an entrepreneur. And certainly that was the case even 8 years ago. And so we created a competition, and, Goldie Blocks, Gymshark, Nixwear,
Movement watches.
Movement watches.
Lisa
mattresses. Like, these are some of the biggest DTC brands on the planet, and they were all started because of the proverbial kick in the butt that you had given them and we had supported. And so that is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, and all these brands, literally, and everybody wants to say, well, what do you mean all those brands? Well, what happened was you could apply, and in your category, if you sold, whether it's accessories, whether it's apparel, whether it's lotions, whatever the case is, if you sold the most from opening a store from the calendar year to the time that, you applied, you would then be able to. One year we all went to Necker Island, and you guys to speak with me, Richard Branson, Marie Folio, Tim Ferriss,
Seth Godin,
Seth Godin,
and actually also, Chase Jarvis, who's your next guest, was also a mentor the year before that.
Absolutely, and then you get cash. I mean, you guys, how much did you give each person that year?
You got $100,000, and you got to spend a week on like Richard Branson's private island with Daymond John and Seth Godin. Like, it's pretty cool.
Right, and you didn't take any percentage of the company, and you also highlight these people, and they become global brands, and they all started to talk to each other, and they got to really get to know each other, and they have skyrocketed. I mean, Movement watches, I think, was sold for $200 million. Gymshark is out of Europe. These are all global brands. Lisa Mattress, I think, was doing like $150, $200 million. Anything
totally amazing. And again, a year prior to the competition, these businesses didn't even exist.
They didn't exist.
So they
didn't exist. Cool. And this is what people can learn right now, because we all know that during recessions and or challenges like this, geniuses are born, and or people say, why am I working on somebody else's destiny? Can I work on mine today? And the last time we went through this, of course, there was the brands that were created like Uber and Slack and Square and Pinterest and just a couple others. So I got a couple of questions here for you that only a guy like you could probably answer. About e-commerce, what do you think the role of e-commerce is doing during this time, and how do retailers who may say, okay, I'm not fully an IP brand like on Shopify, on Instagram, how can they switch over to this time?
Yeah, so a couple things. First of all, a little bit of a stat or a piece of sort of retail trivia that most people don't know. Even though e-commerce is big and everyone watching obviously has bought something off an online store, as a percentage of total retail, e-commerce is still like something like 15% of total retail. So that means that 85%, again, this is before COVID, 85% of retail in the US was still done in a physical location, not an online store. And so what is happening now, I think, because of the crisis, because so many stores are closing, is it's acted as a bit of a catalyst for a lot of traditional businesses to move online. And just before this, one of my favorite grocery stores on the planet is in New York. It's called Eataly. I think you know Eataly as well. And I just looked at their site, and Eataly has completely changed. I mean, Eataly is some of the most magnificent physical locations. You can go sit at the fish counter, have some sushi. You can go sit at an Italian counter, have some dinner. You can also buy groceries. They are now entirely a curbside pickup and delivery grocery store. So would that have happened eventually for Eataly? Yeah, probably in 5 years, they would have eventually realized, okay, let's get serious about our online retail. But what has happened through COVID is it's acted as a catalyst. And
Yeah.
it's catalyzed so many brick and mortar stores to really think of moving online. A second category is a brick and mortar store where online for them, e-commerce, was a hobby. It wasn't really their core business. And I think what this has all done is it really does push them to rethink kind of how they do business. And I'm watching, meat wholesalers, just as an example, that sell to restaurants, create a store on Shopify a week ago, and now have an entire direct-to-consumer meat business. I'm watching kombucha brands on Shopify become online farmers markets. What I'm seeing across our base is an incredible amount of resiliency where they're pivoting really, really quickly. And in some cases, these new things that these businesses, these new business models, they will not go away after COVID is gone. They will be steady state. But COVID has given an opportunity for people to rethink their business because, frankly, the stuff that was working for them once upon a time, it's just not working anymore.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I called this time. I think what COVID really is I'm a big action movie guy. I call it Rise of the Machines. Now, you can either be John Connor and try to fight the machine, or you can try to take that machine and use it to fight for you. But what this has done is this moved us up straight 5 years, and like you said, these aren't going away. It's kind of like after 9/11, we were never able to walk through an airport the same ever again, right? It is, and that's going to be the new normal, whatever the normal is. So my team put together some questions because a lot of times I'm too close to it. It says Shopify is a very engaging community of store owners and entrepreneurs, and I know you and your team have been doing a lot for them over the past few weeks. Can you share with the audience what resources or content you have available to help people through this time? Because I know even in the past, you guys do clinics where it says, listen, photography is very, very important, and I'm gonna give you a quick example. Photography is extremely important when you're online, right? Because people are visually, rolling this in. When we first started putting FUBU online in, let's say, '08 or whatever the case is, or maybe '05, we would spend all this money on these great, beautiful ads, but when you went online, we had a little flat, crappy picture of the t-shirt that was or whatever that was available, and we noticed, why did we spend millions of dollars on the visuals here, and then when you finally go to the shirt, it looks like a flat piece of like something my daughter would draw, right? And then we were wondering, oh my God, why is this stuff not selling online? Online doesn't work. But that's just a typical example of where we were having a disconnect, right? So, but what are the tools that you guys have for the entrepreneurs today?
Yeah, a couple things. Right off the bat, we've now made the Shopify trial 90 days. So it used to be a smaller period of time where you can go on, you try it, but we've now made it 90 days, 3 months. So if you're even thinking of starting a business, now is a great time to do that because you basically have 90 days where you're in the trial. You're not paying us any money until you are ready to actually go ahead and launch your business. And so, one, we've extended the trial dramatically. The second is we've now included gift cards in every one of our plans so that if you are a physical retailer, and even if your business doesn't necessarily translate online, let's say you're a services business, for example, you're a hair salon or a barbershop or a nail place or a place to go do your dry cleaning, or you're a cafe and you don't feel you transit online, you can set up a Shopify store right now and you can offer your most loyal customers the chance to buy a gift card, which means you as the business get money right now, which you need, and then that customer can go and redeem it at a later date. So we're trying to help services businesses as well right now. We have a brand new way to do curbside pickup, so that if you are a business and you're worried about shipping and you're worried about, is your package going to be fulfilled on time, you can now initiate with our point of sale system, our physical point of sale system, you can actually initiate curbside pickup. And then lastly, on the content side, Shopify Academy, if you go to shopify.com/academy, it's probably the best place to go to learn about starting a business. You talked about product photography, but there's also digital marketing you have to understand. You have to understand how to write product descriptions, what theme to select. Even if you don't use Shopify, this is not a Shopify pitch, but shopify.com/academy, Shopify Academy, it's just a great place to get a really great curated set of information and knowledge and an understanding of how to start a business, how to be an entrepreneur, and it's totally free, so anyone can check that out. Beyond that, what we're also trying to showcase stories of people that are doing big pivots. I mentioned that meat supplier, Premium Meats. I mean,
Yeah.
again, they went from a B2B business to 50-year-old company, and now they're doing B2C. I bet they're going to always have that B2C business after that. So we're also trying to inspire other entrepreneurs with everything that that we're doing. I have this great tailor, for example, who makes some of my shirts for me, and his name is Rami. He's actually watching this right now. He's now completely changed his business model and has moved online. That is incredible, and we're seeing that from not just people that are technically savvy. We're seeing that from people across the board that are really trying to be resilient. And I think in many ways, Nassim Taleb talks about anti-fragility. Like some things, when they break, they become stronger. Your immune system is sort of like that in certain cases. I think this might be an anti-fragile moment and period of time for a lot of great entrepreneurs.
No, I believe that too. And, I'll give you an example. If people right now are saying, well, I have a product and you know what, nobody's buying, because if there's no jobs out there, how are they going to buy anything? But I was walking in my living room yesterday, and this guy comes on and goes, hey, this stock named Shopify, the CEO just said that their sales are like Black Friday every day, or something like that. Are sales going? Are people really doing well? Not only the transition of people saying, okay, now I'm the meat dealer or whatever the case is, I need to sell like that. Are you seeing groundbreaking numbers as well with people who are existing in this world already?
Yeah, I can't comment on specific numbers because we're publicly traded and we're coming out with earnings in a couple weeks from now. What I can say, though, is this is a great time for e-commerce, that we are all stuck at home. And for a lot of us, we still need the stuff we needed when this wasn't going on. And so I think after this, if you're not online, and you're just still a physical retailer, there's always going to be room for physical retail. You look at these great, old school retailers. You take like Barney's or Barney's is kind of a bad example, I guess now, so isn't even Marcus, but you take Bergdorf, for example. You take these great iconic stores, there's always going to be a place for great customer service. But if I go into Bergdorf and I get fitted for a really cool jacket and I want to buy it again, I may never walk back into the store. I now have my size. I should be able to reorder it online. And I think this is, I think e-commerce is going to be pulled in to sort of we're in 2020, but e-commerce is being pulled into 2030 very quickly.
All right, cool. Yeah. So I know you're on a show also, just like, because you're out of Canada and they have Dragon's Den, and then you're on a show called Next Gen Den, right? So you probably see more pitches than you can remember, just like me on Shark Tank. What can entrepreneurs pitching their business on a show like that, or even off camera, do to secure a deal?
Yeah, look, I learned from the best. I learned from you, Damon, that when I invest in a company, I've invested in dozens of businesses. I really am investing in the person behind the business. I actually care less about the business. The business may change 20 times. Shopify started as a snowboard shop. Now we're, a global e-commerce and commerce retail operating system. So if I believe in the entrepreneur behind it, I see conviction in him or her, man, that's exactly where I'm going to spend my that's where I want to invest. And so I think the challenge that most investors make is they invest in a particular business, and that business, particularly in the early days, it's going to change 100 times. But if you bet on the right entrepreneur, it's going to work out. And in many ways, a lot of the reason I invest is because there were people that invested in me in the early days, and we wouldn't be here without those folks. And I think same for you and Fubu.
No, absolutely. And so I'm going to get to a couple of fun questions and let you go about your business. I know you have a lot of stuff to do. I have one last big question, which is for those who are going to be the Harleys of the world, or those who are currently the Harleys of the world. How many employees do you have at the moment?
Just over 5,000.
5,000 employees. Okay. When we started working, how many employees did you have? 12?
Not many. Under 100 for sure.
Okay, so imagine averaging out hiring 500 people a year. You're probably, or even 1,000 a year, right? You got to deal with 3 new personalities a day, right? How are you handling this stage of where we're at today with your 5,000 employees? Because obviously there's a lot of different. We got hit, boom, at one time, and I know that you guys are already proficient when it comes to technology. However, none of us were prepared for this. How are you dealing with 5,000 employees, and how's it going for you?
I don't think there's a way to over communicate right now to your team. I think that over communication is a sort of a 1.0 world type thing. We're now in a 2.0 world, and so one of the things we're doing is we're over communicating everything. We're sort of defaulting to open. So we finish the week at Shopify every single week with a town hall where anyone across the entire company, no matter what country they're in, they can ask a question in sort of an AMA, Ask Me Anything format. And other people in the company can upvote or downvote those questions. And what that does is it allows us to really understand what are the pent up questions? Where is the anxiety? What are people wondering about? And then the exec team, we just answer it directly and say, hey, like, here's the answer to that question. So every Friday we're doing town halls, but more importantly, because we're all virtual right now, we're trying to check in with people that may not be doing that well right now. For parents, for example, like, you know, a lot of us have little kids at home. How are we balancing work and life and all that? So we're sort of defaulting to transparency and openness internally. We're also defaulting to kindness. But I would suggest that, you know, one random thing to do, and you can do this just on Google with Google Hangouts, you can live stream, you know, develop some sort of ask me anything type of model whereby anyone at the company can ask any of the leaders a question. And again, the upvote downvote system is really great because it really means that you do know what are on people's minds, and the questions that one person, you know, because you can only answer so many questions. It does allow you to sort of unblock or to release the pressure valve of the company of what people are thinking about. And we're writing a lot. Every time something, you know, we have a new idea, we're changing kind of an area of the business to fit sort of COVID. We'll write a one-page memo and say, here's why we did it. Here's all the rationale, and anyone can read it. So it allows people to sort of be archaeologists where they can go and find the information they require and pull it in. And sort of the over-communication thing has probably been the thing that we're leaning into the most. And, you know, we got great people, and hopefully we're supporting them the best we can. But it is, Shopify is a company full of entrepreneurs helping other entrepreneurs. And so it's a really interesting time for us, and we're trying to be as thoughtful as possible.
I like that because, you know, whether you're you know, running a large company with 5,000 people, you're basically saying, ask me anything. And you're also telling people why you are doing things and or changing because you're adapting to the time. So you can always say, here's the information. If you want to ask me anything, you can, but here's all the information, what we're doing. And I think that people with their personal brands can do the same thing. Hey, I know you support the brand for years. Ask me anything, you know, and or here's why we made these changes or sales or take things off or whatever we're doing. All right, so I got this is a serious time now with some fun questions. I'm going to let you go, but I don't want to burden with anybody with, their head popping with all this information because I'm going to go back to this and watch it myself and write down some of these things. All right, power round. What superpower do you wish you had?
Fly.
To be able to fly. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Why?
Because it's not in between two pieces of bread. Although in that case, I guess you can also say, well, then a sub isn't really a sandwich either.
Is it a wrap?
Wow.
I'm going to let you think about that.
Wow.
In between what to do with 5,000 people, you're gonna wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking about that. All right.
I got it. Yeah.
What would the theme song to your time in quarantine be?
Probably something from Peppa Pig or Daniel Tiger's Magical Neighborhood. You too? I bet it's the same for you too.
My theme song would be Everything's Gonna Be All Right.
That's good. That's pretty good.
Right.
You know, I've been listening to a lot of, I've been trying to find really good music to listen to while I work. And before sort of the crisis, I never really listened to music. I'm now listening to a lot of hip hop instrumentals. So I'm actually right now listening to the game instrumentals. Like
really? No
words, just like the game music, which is kind of cool.
I love listening to orchestra type of like big band scores. Like
interesting. No vocals either.
No vocals, like all the score to Rocky, all the score to Star Wars. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah. Well, if anyone likes it, Hans Zimmer, all
Hans
the Hans Zimmer stuff
absolutely.
is insane.
All the Hans Zimmer stuff is crazy. All right. What's been your favorite food and drink of choice during this time? We're drinking more wine than I'd like to be. So we're drinking a lot of really good red wine. Food, I'm making a ton of grilled cheeses. It's like comfort food. And I've just nailed Lindsay, my wife and I, Lindsay and I watched Chef, the movie with Jon Favreau, and he makes this incredible grilled cheese in the movie. And it's just set to the most amazing music. And then he serves it to his son, and of course, son loves it. And so we've been making a ton of grilled cheese right now. All right, you got me off at the moment because I hope nobody clips it because you said I just nailed Lindsay.
Oh,
and then
sorry.
you went into something else.
Sorry, yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
so
yeah,
make sure
yeah.
we don't. All right.
She's my wife, but what
You
I
can do that.
I have nailed making grilled cheeses for my wife.
there you go. What would you rather cuddle with, a baby panda or baby penguin?
Panda.
All right,
Penguins
penguin
are all
smell.
slimy and stuff.
All right, the last one. What's your best piece of advice for people right now?
Vulnerability is actually a strength right now. It's not a weakness. If you are feeling a certain way, you're unsure about certain things, reach out to people. Do an Instagram live, do some sort of blog post and say, hey, like, here's where my head is at. Here's what I'm not sure about. Invite people in right now. It's not like everyone right now is sort of in a helping mode. And I think that the best thing you can do right now is show way more sense of vulnerability right now than in general. I think that's always the case, especially right now. I can tell you that I am responding to hundreds of entrepreneurs every week that are reaching out directly to me saying, hey, would you do it this way or this way? And part of it is I think we're all being really empathetic. We are the society, human race has a common enemy, and we're banding together like never before. And I think vulnerability right now is a good strategy.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that we've talked about a lot of things when it comes to entrepreneurship, but mental health is a big issue with entrepreneurs. We normally can't tell anybody our problems. We've got to listen to everybody else's problems. We have financial stress at the home. We've been working on something now. A lot of these people right now have been working on something 20 years. They're just starting to make money. Boom! They have to now dial back. And they have to risk a lot. They don't know the future, as well as personally what's going on. Is your mother or your father or your son or your sister, your brother or wife exposed to this potential issue going on in the world? What's going to happen? Reach out to people, because if we don't know you're suffering, we can't help you. And when you reach out to somebody else, we're suffering too. I'm not having the best time at home all the time. I'm waking up some in the morning going, holy crap, what is going on? And then I just got to read my goals and get back up there. But if I see somebody else say the same thing to me, I may say to them, I was having a rough time today too. Let's talk today later on at 6 o'clock and see how we can get it done. All right, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Damon.
Appreciate
See you guys. Thanks for having me on. See ya.
You got it. All right, I'm running just a little behind, but that was an amazing, amazing interview, and I can only tell you that this one is going to be equally amazing with Chase Jarvis, right? I'm going to just read off a little bit about Chase Jarvis, if I have some stuff here. All right, Chase Jarvis came out with a book. It's called Creative Calling, and explains how to become more creative or tap into your natural creativity by following your IDEA system, IDEA system, and we're going to talk about how he's identified this template. All right, so but he also has creativeLIVE, which is a massive amount of curriculums and educational pieces. So what we're doing today is we're having Harley, who's showing you how to technically get out there and make that power shift and make that move, and the platform and the information is there, and how to run this large company mentally as well as strategically. And now Chase Jarvis is going to talk to you how to do it mentally and envision. Chase Jarvis also is a world-renowned photographer as well, so he's also been in charge of taking the beauty of an individual and or things and substances and capturing it and putting it out there. So a lot of entrepreneurs have depended on Chase Jarvis for so many different things. I'm going to see if we got Chase ready. And I know hopefully he was watching that, because Chase and not, look at him right there. And of course his picture is like, you know, like a model, because I don't know if he could take his own picture. That's a good question. That's my first question. Hey Chase, it's happening.
My man.
Did you take your own picture in that shot? Because you look sexy in that, or did you have one of your photography buddies take that picture?
Oh man, that's all behind the curtain.
Oh,
these are not the droids you're looking for. Oh, that's top secret.
All right. Did you check out Harley?
I did, man. I was watching it. Longtime mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
In fact, the other day I was scrolling through my phone and came upon a photograph of you, me, Harley, Tim Ferriss, Gary V, Lil Jon, Swiss Miss, all in a big like arm hug. It was a good one. I'll text it to you after.
Yeah, send that to me.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. So of course, he just shared so much information. And then I know. Listen, I don't even know where to start with you, because you've been, well, you know, some of my best interviews, and you made me think. When I would leave the interviews, I would go, That was a tough question. I really got to dig deeper. Did I give him a glossed over answer, or did I stumble or mumble? So, you have this way of really tapping into people and bringing out their creativity and make them think about areas that they never thought of before. But you also, with Creative Live, have been able to also put that in curriculums and or ways that people can educate themselves. And I think that today, while we are all at home, we don't treat it like Saturday. We educate and empower ourselves. So whether we're going to go out and say, I'm not going to work for anybody else, or we're going to go out and say, all right, but I'm going to add more value now when I come back and I realize what's been holding me back or where my value is to other people. I think that, you've really been able to master that. So my team has put together some questions with me as well, because sometimes you can be too close to it. I've known you for so many years, but let me get to one or two of the questions right
Well,
here.
let me hijack your stream for just a second. And
Yeah,
say,
please, man.
I just want to say I appreciate you going live, and so many people in need right now. There's hundreds or thousands watching, and you've just been a big inspiration. Congrats on your new book. It's amazing.
Thank you,
and I know we've got some stuff in the works with that coming on Creative Live, and just keep doing what you're doing. There's, I do, as you mentioned in your intro, have a good pulse on the creator and the entrepreneurial community right now. There's so many people hurting, looking for opportunity, looking for a silver lining, and you've just been a big bright spot for a lot of people. So keep it up, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Now, how did you, and you've always inspired me, how did you move, and what was your idea why you moved from becoming a photographer? Because I know you slowed down dramatically on your craft, right?
Yeah, well,
right?
I don't talk a lot about this publicly, because when you have what essentially is a dream job, I mean, I know there's millions, or there's hundreds of millions of people now, billions of people have a camera, and the thought, once you take a cool picture every once in a while, you're like, oh man, that's kind of cool. I got a cool shot here, whether it's of your kid or your, the nature scene or whatever. But to have that as your professional career and be able to travel the world with your friends, doing the things that you've always dreamed of. For me, it was around action sports and travel and the adventure lifestyle. And to be at the top of your game in that is truly like a once in a lifetime job, or once in a lifetime opportunity, I guess. And to be able to do that every day for 15 years, again, I don't share this much publicly, but you can even burn a television personality or someone who gets recognized walking down the street. Even that can get tiring. When I had exhausted all of my professional aspirations with photography, shoot with all the celebrities you'd ever want to shoot with, all of the, across all the brands, travel to 100 different countries. And when you check that off your list, I started to feel a little bit like, that whole chapter of my life, the last 15 years, has been all about me. How can I beat my chest and get people to pay attention to my company and hire me, the individual artist? And without going too far into the weeds, I had a very close brush with death. I was caught in an avalanche while I was making a Nike commercial, and I by every measure should be dead. And I came out the other side of that after having lived this, amazing career as a photographer, and said, well, now I know how precious and short life truly might be. And if I could shift gears and do something, what would it be? And it was the idea of being able to give that gift of actually tapping into what I knew my personal calling was, and to be able to give that gift to anyone who wanted it. Because I think we're raised in a culture where the closest people to us, they care deeply about us. These are our parents, our spouses, our career counselor, friends, peers. And yet they really they aren't equipped to tell us what we ought to be doing with this one precious life. And so I figured maybe I could create a voice and a movement that wasn't your parents or your teachers or your career counselors or your friends that are telling you to do something, quote, practical with your life. And what if we could create a world where we program people to think for themselves and to pursue what it is that they were meant to do on this earth? And it's very much in line with your vision around entrepreneurship. Like, whether you're working for for a big company or something that you've dreamed of for a long time, how could we empower people to think and take advantage of that moment for themselves? And so it was an easy transition when I started doing that and built Creative Live. This started about 10 years ago, which is now where more than 10 million people go to learn from entrepreneurs like yourself, like Tim Ferriss, Gary Vee, Brene Brown, Ariana Huffington. And And we've just started tapping into this I think gold mine now 10 years in, where millions of people can come check it out. Incredibly personally fulfilling for me. And lo and behold, who would have thought that when we started that thing 10 years ago that we would be in the middle of a pandemic? And now Creative Lives, I was just on the phone with Oxford. Creative Live powers Oxford's online learning, and now that's going through the roof. You know, we've 10x'd our free offering on Creative Live, and you never know when what you've been building for 10 years is going to become even more valuable in the snap of a finger or the blink of an eye. And so we're just trying to help a lot of folks now, and it's an amazingly fulfilling experience for me to be able to be adding extra value in a time where so many are hurting. So it's been a long and an interesting arc for me personally, for sure.
Well, I thank you for sharing that, because I open up in my my newest book one of the same things. You know, when I realized that I had stage 2 cancer, I had to look at it as, have I had the best life ever? I've lived the life of, like you said, I've lived the life of 10 people, and you know what? If I check out now, it is what it is. Or do I beat this thing and I go out there and I help more people beat their hurdles in life, or show them an example, because maybe that's what I'm here for. And I think that a lot of people right now, and they can chime in on the box, unfortunately or fortunately, we're realizing, because I've now been directly in contact with, probably literally, because I'm from New York, 20 friends who've lost somebody over the last week or week and a half. Some people's fathers, I know a woman, her father went into the hospital for low blood sugar. He got the virus in the hospital. And then and you have to think about how people are passing right now. They're in there for 2 weeks. Somebody's shoving, who cares? Somebody's trying to shove tubes down their throat. Their family can't be there to kiss them, hold them. They can't kiss them on the forehead. They can't even close their eyes when they pass or pray over them. And they're all by themselves. And it is the loneliest time they are ever going to be. And you're at home thinking about that as well. And that is very similar to torture. And if anybody right now has lost somebody or knows people who've lost somebody, type it in the box, because we have to realize that, like the Chases of the world and the Damons of the world and so many other people, when you realize that life is so short, you find your purpose. And some people are gifted enough. Yeah. From 12 years old, my daughter's been wanting to go out and travel the world and save people. She couldn't care less about $1 or anything else. She wants to just go and try to stop human trafficking and other diseases in other countries. And some people are gifted enough to realize that at a very young age, but many of us are realizing it now. If you've seen some of this stuff go on, or you've been affected by it, please feel free to type it in there and let us know, but things are going to hopefully be all right. I think they're going to be all right. But I want to get to a little bit of your stuff here, so that people can know more about you and what you've learned. You believe that creativity isn't a skill. It's more so of a habit or a mindset. What do you think so many people... Oh, sorry. I'm reading from afar. I don't got my glasses. I'm even getting older, too. Why do you think so many people believe that creativity is just something that you're either born with or you're not? And I'm one of those people. Yeah. I'm one of those people who always thought, Barbara Corcoran, I'm a one-trick pony. I'll be very honest. I take a brand or product, I get it on a celebrity, or I use my access to, distribution pipelines or manufacturing, and I package it well enough, get it at the right price, do my surveys on what people are looking for, and get it out to them and try to make the best product ever. But Barbara, she will come out of no place with a new way to market or brand things. And it fascinates me how creative she is. So I always thought, hey, my skill set is I'm a one-trick pony. I know what I know best, and I'm not trying to, recreate anything. But you say that creativity is something we all have.
Sure. I'm happy to frame this in a new way for you. And first, I think you're wildly creative, and I'll get back to that in a second. But all you have to do to wonder if humans are creative as a primary mode of being, all you have to do is walk into a first grade classroom, right? And say, who wants to come up to the front room and draw me a picture? How many hands go up? Every hand goes up in first grade. It's like, I want to stand on the desk and draw a picture for my teacher, my friend, my peer, my mom, dad, whatever. And over time, through the messaging of our culture, through our parents and people who mean well, because they want us to be safe and taken care of. They steer us towards something other than creativity, towards something that's practical. But the irony is that the success that you or Cuban or Barbara or anybody on the show or anybody that are our mutual friends, they didn't find success. We even use that, right? Oh, he found success. Success is created. And so if you can think about creativity not just as popsicle sticks and pipe cleaners and glitter that we are taught as a culture, that it's like art school or art class, if you can start to think of creativity is the ability to put new things together in new ways, to, like, we're co-creating this conversation right now, right? If you say something, I respond to it. This is a creative act. And so if we can get people to think of creativity as beyond just art, sure, art's very creative, but so is building business. You know, I would argue that what you just said, like, oh, I'm a one-trick pony, I repackage stuff. In every one of those decisions, there's 1,000 possible ways. You could reach out to one celebrity or another. You could reach out to, you could get one source of funding or a different source of funding. And all of those things are these little, this history, this intuition that you've created. It didn't just happen to you. You've been cultivating this strength throughout your entire life. And that is the unique thing that you can deliver. And that's wildly creative.
And I can agree with you, but let me ask you something else. Is creativity the ability to try? Because if you're, and I get it. A lot of our family and loved ones would say, I've never heard that before. It's never been done before. Not in our family. You're going to embarrass yourself. You're going to embarrass us. And what you do is you say, okay, I'm not going to take that stage. I'm not going to create that company, or I'm not going to, try to work out and, to be the Michael Jordan who got cut from his team and or various different times, but he just kept working out or practicing. Is the lack of creativity the lack of effort? Because I think we get confused by some people who do show it very easily and draw things in whatever case, you go, that's creativity. However, is Keith Haring really a great artist? Because he does figures like I would draw figures. You see what I'm saying? But yet he's
for sure
adorned as one of the biggest artists in the world.
Sure. Well, I think creativity is wildly personal, and it's as you opened with in your question here, is it if it's not a skill, what is it? And I think it's a habit. It's a way of being in the world. It's a willingness, not dissimilar to what you said, it's a willingness to try, to experiment. And all of the best stuff in life, all of the companies that you guys invest in on Shark Tank and you personally have built, like, those are very, very creative efforts. And in our culture, we're taught to, like, pursue something practical. That is on its way out. All the practical stuff, the most basic sort of functions, those are all going to be,
they're done.
They're going to be run by computers in the next chapter of humanity. And so what things are not going to be that? Those are the ability to put new ideas together. These are the foundation of so many businesses we can't even imagine are going to come out of this particular time that we're in right now. And all of those businesses are started by individuals just like you or me or anyone of the 510 people who are in this conversation with us right now. And to me, that's a wildly inspirational thing. And if you look at success on TV or on the internet, and it's easy to say that person, she just got lucky. But what you discover if you look under the covers at all is that person's been grinding for 10 years. And to me, this combination of pursuing what it is that you're put on this planet to do, finding out what your purpose is, and then pursuing it, is both wildly creative and a way for you to be valuable to yourself, valuable to the people in your community, and to the world. Like, that's what we're supposed to be doing, is pursuing that calling that we all have.
And I think, and I hate always giving my mother the credit, man, because my kids think that I'm the stupidest man on the planet. And I think that's what kids are supposed to do. And I didn't listen to my mother until I was way, way older. And I realized, wait a minute, she knew what she was talking about. But I remember I was driving in a car one day and she looked around and she was telling me something. I was like, I don't know if that could be ever. Oh, who can do that? And she said, Damon, if you look at the car we're in, the buildings around us, the lights, everything here started with one person with one idea that just took one action. Everything in the world started with one person, one idea, one action. Why do I say that? I say that because I guess that's creativity. They didn't start off saying, I'm going to make a car. They probably started off saying, I'm tired of walking, and the bike is not getting me there. The horse is shitting everywhere. I got, All right,
Your
so
your mom's had it. Like she knew. And I mean, literally, if wherever you are, the 400 people that are watching right now, look around and realize that everything, if you want to know the value of creativity, everything around you was created. It started out with an idea, and that idea was just in someone's mind, and then it was a drawing, and then it was a list of things to do on paper, and then there was one version of it. Yeah, like you said, the first car probably started out as a skateboard, and then it became a bike, and then you know what I mean? It's like, and when you start to realize that everything around you was created, and it was created by somebody no smarter, no more talented, maybe even with less resources than you have right now, that's inspiring to me. And that's part of the way that I think about creativity. It's not just Keith Haring drawing and painting, although that's wildly creative. But when you start to realize that everything around you, the people that you look up to and admire and respect on the internet or in real life, they are creating that experience for themselves and for others. It's not something that they just stumbled into.
There's nothing new in this world. It's only just a new platform. My friend Dom will always say that his mother and her friends created crowdfunding, Uber Eats, and all that because they would just yell out of the window, "Hey Sally, you and Tanya put some money together, give it to that boy on the bike, go down the block and get some bread and bring it back to me." And that was their version of crowdfunding, Foursquare, Instagram, whatever the case is. So all right, I want to get a little bit into I know we all have limited time because I know that we're all super busy, and I really appreciate your time here with me. I know you're in heavy demand, and I want my people to learn from you, but this is really amazing having both you and Harley here. So about creativeLIVE, you founded an online curriculum that has become a community of creatives. And what does it mean right now to be an entrepreneur and a founder?
Well, it means, first of all, I want to back up one sentence and say, right now, as humans, we do have the capability of both grieving and recognizing the pain and the hardships that's happening right now and doing something positive. So to me, that is a key characteristic that I want us to emerge from here. We can both hold that pain that humanity is going through and hold the lens of opportunity to do something special and different, both with this time and whether you're an entrepreneur or an artist, do something with this moment. And so when you said, what does it mean to be an entrepreneur, or what's on the minds of entrepreneurs right now, I think that you can be respectful of all of these things that are happening and try and provide value. I'll just use my own case as an example. Like, I got a bunch of, I too know people that have lost people. I got a couple of older adults in my life that are at high risk. They're currently okay, but that are at very, very high risk. My mom has an autoimmune disease. My uncle's in the hospital with some blood poisoning. There's some really tough stuff going on right now. So we can hold that. And right now, creativeLIVE is more valuable than ever before. We've got tens of millions of people using the platform, but when you've been putting in, grinding and doing all the work for 10 years as an entrepreneur, and then all of a sudden all learning in the physical sense has to stop, and people, corporations, communities are all moving online in a way that they've never moved before, we suddenly have found ourselves in a unique time and with a unique ability to add value. So we're 10xing our free offering. We're trying to be there for our community. And my personal story with creativeLIVE is probably not dissimilar to so many entrepreneurs who are listening and watching right now. Mine just happens to be an online learning platform, but your business might be struggling right now. It's up to you to both feel and hold that pain and the struggle and think of a way that you can show up for yourself, for your community, for the people that are close to you in this moment of need. Do you have a unique skill or gift? How can you adapt your business to this time. And to me, that's what it means to both be human, to be able to hold both these ideas, and to be an entrepreneur at the same time.
I couldn't agree with you more. I was I was on a call yesterday. I have a round table where a lot of CEOs, and this one happened to be a round table of CEOs more in the real estate, residential aspect of real estate. They weren't commercial based. And one was having a conflict, saying, I'm having a conflict right now because as we're looking at the market over the next 2 years, there's going to be a lot of loss and a lot of changes because, of course, people's revenue went down and loss of life. And
Sure.
he was like, I don't want to feel like I am profiting off the loss of people and getting their homes, what they've invested in all their life, for 50 cents on the dollar. He said, I don't want to do that. So I don't know what to do. And another CEO, fascinating, that he said, we're doing the same, but we're not taking advantage of people. We're asking people who wants to downsize, and we want to help you find something that's more affordable for you, right? We're waiving our fees for some people and or family because we're here anyway. We have the database anyway. Take a look. If you like what you like, and whatever the case is, how can we get more capital out of your home? And we're bringing in financial advisors to tell you maybe you don't want to, do this. Maybe that property could be an Airbnb property and you downsize over here. And how can this income now help you with that? And it really opened up to other people to go, you don't have to be, you can have the sensitivity of what we're doing right now and yet still be a business person and offer value.
Absolutely. And I love the way you just framed that, because notice in the person that provided the solution, that wasn't what their business was yesterday, right? What got them from where they were to pre-COVID pandemic is not the same thing that's going to get them from where they are now to the next chapter of their business. And so, and they're not alone in this. You at the Shark Group, you've had to change your thinking. You're not traveling all over the country speaking in person. Right.
Yeah.
And same with creativeLIVE. Like so much of our stuff has been, we make curriculum, we bring people together in a place, or we go to a location and create amazing content, and we've had to rethink that. And so in the example that you gave, people, what made them successful from 10 years ago to the pandemic, and what's going to define the next era of from the pandemic forward, those are very different things for every business. Nothing's the same as it was before this. And so many of things are never going to be the same again. Like, whether air travel resumes or not, certainly so much of online learning is going to move online. So many corporate events, they're going to realize, well, we didn't need to spend all that time and money to fly people across the country for a 30-minute meeting when a video conference might have done well. So to me, this reorienting about what are the strengths that my business has, and among them, and I know this is going to resonate with you, chief among them is mindset. Like if you are, again, we have as humans the capability of both being sad and frustrated and torn, but being the strongest version that we can for ourselves, our companies. If we're leaders, like the opportunity to be vulnerable and to be, to show up in a really, really authentic way during this time, like that's an asset that, now might be revealed in a way that you hadn't been able to do that in the past. So I think there's so many ways that every single person who's on this IG Live right now can think about what's the best version of themselves that can show up. Mindset in this time is as important as anything.
Oh, thank you, man, so much. I know that I didn't even know there must be an hour time limit on these IG Lives. I got 1 minute and 19 left, but I want people to know that, listen, this is just a tip of the iceberg. You can go and follow Chase, but also creativeLIVE is his platform where there's thousands of hours of interviews and information and curriculums with thought leaders and people that can help you right now. And so thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Chase. We're gonna repost this, and I just got one really quick question for you, Chase.
I'm ready.
or two. And it's let me see where it is right here. All right, yeah, same question as with Harley. Like, is a hot dog a sandwich or
Definitely not a sandwich.
What is it?
It's a hot dog.
No,
Hot
but a
dog's
hot
a
dog
class
in the
all
bun.
its
What,
own.
no, but that's just the hot dog. But when it's in the bun, is it a sandwich?
It's a tube sandwich.
What do you call a pile of kittens?
Amazing. I don't know. What do you call it?
A mountain.